Alright, so welcome back. We are short on time. Got about 5 hours that I can actually dedicate towards the LS swap truck. And yeah, feeling not so motivated. So came back down to Arkansas for the week. Had to do some housework, which has taken the majority of my time, but I'm finally making it out to the shop. Got some new bushings for that core support. I'm gonna get those in. Gonna go ahead and plumb the radiator. I'm not emotionally prepared to get up under the truck yet, so yeah, just gonna do what I can up here, and then later on I'll crawl up under there. Not looking forward to it. Like I said, kind of losing motivation today, in a rush. But the truck has to get done, so. These headers sure do look nice. They're kind of getting a little surface rust on them. So that's neat. Need to get them heated up. Get that discoloration. Maybe they won't rust so bad. Probably still will, but oh well. Front mounts for the core support. So these really need to be cleaned up and repainted. So we're gonna do the right thing and skip that step. Oh, upside down. So later on we got to take off this front core support, so we can do it then when we have more patience and more time. Anyways, that is going to be the bottom. This drops down on the top, and then this will squeak on in there like that, and it'll sandwich the frame right there. So easy enough. So we'll get these shoved up in there. I got the new radiator support mounts in place. I put about half of the bolts back in, so we should be good there. So now gonna move on to the radiator, which got a brand new one. So I'd actually purchased this when I planned on keeping the small block Chevy in the C10, but you know, plans changed. But fortunately we'll still be able to work with these. I actually never ran electric fans, so this will be new to me. Typically I just keep the factory mechanical fan because it works and it's not any extra work. So it looks, oh well. But anyways, this is another Amazon purchase. Not that expensive, and it's a 3-core. Comes with the trans cooler also, which is kind of the main reason I bought it. So we'll get this in, and yeah, still putting off getting underneath the truck, but making pretty good progress, so it's looking like I'm gonna have to do that today. Alright, so the new radiator is installed. I'm gonna link the parts in the description, but this upper radiator hose and lower radiator hose is out of a 2002 to 2000, pretty much any 2000 Silverado. So did have to cut off. There we go. So I use factory upper radiator hose and the lower. Most of the lowers that I buy come with this little kind of guard, kind of like loom top stuff. So I just cut about 4 to 5 inches off the bottom of it and then run it like this. So with the radiator, you've got a couple different options. A lot of people, including myself, run factory radiators and with the same hose setup. Not really a problem because that mechanical fan pulls so many CFMs that you really have no issues keeping the engine cool. Plus it's reliable, it's proven, and I mean, you don't have to wire anything up, so it's very simple. The only problem with running the factory C10 radiator is the steam port vent needs to go somewhere. So what I've done on my K10 is I tapped the top side of this water pump. So apparently that is low pressure, so it sucks fluid in, steam, whatever. Just drilled and tapped the top of it and ran my steam port directly into that. Now this radiator, I should be able to tie into it right there. Just have to find the appropriate fitting. So take care of that later on, and this will run into my overflow. Now this radiator did come with some relays, or a relay, a fuse, the wiring, and a sensor. So I don't know if I actually have anywhere to put that sensor. I think there's another port on this head that I might be able to tap into, but judging by the relay, it looks like it's a normally open sensor. And then I'm guessing, if I had to guess, I'd say this is probably a 185 sensor or switch. So whenever the coolant hits 185, it's going to close, ground out the system, and then that should kick on the relay and power up both fans. Now, I want to say the previous owner had mentioned that he put a 185 thermostat in it, so we'll dig into that later on. If that's the case, then I'll run that sensor and I'll just run it like that. It wouldn't hurt to keep it a little cooler, especially, I mean, I'm hoping these electric fans keep up, but I'm not 100% sure, so maybe I might help that out. So, as far as this upper radiator mount, using some cardboard isolators and zip ties, because this truck came with one radiator mount, and since this truck originally came with a inline 6, it would have had the shorter radiator. So I will have to get the big block radiator mount. It's just going to bolt up there and on that side, and it's just going to sit down and clamp onto this upper portion in this area. So that should take care of that. I've just got to find one and order it. So I'm not feeling the wiring harness. So from here, I'm going to jack it up, get up under it, put that transmission cross member in, and then out. I mean, 5 p.m. Still got to run to dinner with the wife, so I might get started on the exhaust, might not. We'll play that one by ear. We've got some good news. I did finally get in this cross member from, I think it was Amazon. Switch down here. So it showed up. It's about all that was left of it. The box, completely demolished. But this guy, I mean, looks like a cross member. Don't really know what else to say about it. I mean, the welds, they're there. I mean, it's better than what I could do, so that's cool. It showed up bent, so I'm going to do the right thing and smack it with a hammer about 16 dozen times. But I mean, kind of is what it is. It's definitely heavier than what's in it. I mean, this isn't a race truck. I really just need it in there with enough space to put the 3-inch exhaust in, which I mean, it might be too early to say, but I don't think it's gonna be any issue. Of course, that might be hard to see. So the cross member is in. I'm gonna have to drill some new holes. Despite the fact that we've got multiple holes on the frame rail, of course, none of them line up. So yeah, I'm gonna drop this thing down and go eat, and hopefully I feel a little bit spunkier. Maybe I'll be back out here. If not, see you guys later. If I do come back out here, I will edit all of that out. So yeah, guess I'll get to pushing this big old behemoth back out of here. With this truck starting off as a 4-wheel drive, I do not have any transmission cooler lines, so it's another eBay special. Comes with the fittings that go into the transmission, and I think I can also put that in my radiator. So off the transmission, I'm just going to come off in a 90 and just shoot it right towards the front of the truck. And kind of figure out my routing. Figure out my routing sometime or another. I mean, imagine it's as simple as a shoot right down there. Kind of wish I already had exhaust in here so I could kind of see if it's going to be in the way. But this transmission comes with a built-in, this radiator comes with a built-in transmission cooler. So I'll put in my little fittings here on the side of the transmission. We'll run it. Maybe. It's the rest of the parts that need to go on the truck. So yeah, so I like to put some zip ties in them to make just a little divider, about like you would with some spark plug wires. And there's my two 90s that are gonna go to the transmission. Just gonna help me keep it neat and clean, orderly, and might be delaying getting back under that truck for a minute. So no, often spend my afternoon busting my butt working on some project vehicle that doesn't deserve the attention. And there's my dogs. Living the best life, getting dirty, even though they had a bath this week. Chewing on sticks. Doing that. Oh, there she goes. Got her little stick. Can't let anybody else enjoy it. So I'm just gonna get it. And there's Panzer. Oh, the bestest boy. So there was a heat shield right here that I had to go ahead and take out, which unfortunately was a majority of my day. Had to cut a couple of the bolts out, so I had to wrestle with all that. There's that cross member. I think it's gonna do just fine. And the cooler line, or the radiator, transmission lines, ended up not running the 90. So I'll probably end up tossing a heat shield on those. So I was really hoping to be able to start it today. But it's not gonna happen in this one. Without a doubt, in the next video, I'll be able to start this thing up. But it's just not in the cards. I've got to finish working on the house before I leave town. So, for now, I'm gonna go ahead and lower it down. I gotta finish velcroing that heat wrap. I'm just gonna tie up some loose ends. I'll probably, yeah, I'm gonna toss on the intake real quick, just because it makes me feel like I accomplished something. But here's how the transmission lines, oh, let's look for that. That's how much you have to cut off the bottom radiator hose. So yeah, about the width of your palm. You can cut it off of either end, really. Either way it works fine. But yep, that's how the transmission lines ran. I'll probably end up tying these off over here, just to keep them, you know, they're trying to cool down fluid, so keep them as far away from that exhaust as possible. I'll toss in a riv nut and then secure them there, but this inner fender is full of tetanus, so whenever we replace that, we'll fiddle with that. It's kind of one of those final things. So not bad progress for one day. I mean, these things take time, so you just gotta keep chipping away at it. There's a lot of times where it's frustrating. Something's in my eye. I'm not supposed to rub it, but anyways, God damn it, it's just not going away. Let's add more to it. Maybe if I get something in my right eye, my left eye won't be so annoyed. So, yeah, I mean, it can be discouraging at times. You know, you come in with the goal to get X and Y done, and you don't even accomplish X. But if you don't do it, it's just gonna end up parked in your yard, another yard ornament. I mean, just get in there and get it done. I mean, baby steps, you know. Especially if you're trying to keep everything neat and orderly, it's gonna take some time. Like, I didn't have to paint the firewall, I didn't have to undercut the body around the transmission, but I did. And as I'm putting things on the truck, I'm trying to tidy it up then, because I have a bad habit of, if I don't do it then, I'll say, yeah, I'm gonna do that whenever I get some time later on down the road after I get it running and put some miles on it. Never happens. Literally never happens. So I'm gonna avoid doing that with this truck. But anyways, enough talk. I'm gonna drop it down and use the 30 minutes I have left. No, I keep pointing it at my chest. I should probably, yeah, I'm gonna start using a selfie stick. So yeah, we're gonna drop it down and tidy some things up, clean up my mess. All right, so this is gonna do it. Not much visual progress, but got some of this tedious stuff out of the way. Now all we gotta do is figure out this LS swap harness, run the fuel lines, drive shaft, prime the fuel pump, install the gas pedal, and then we should be running and driving. Should, unless there's something wrong inside of here, but it is doubtful since it came out of a running truck. And I actually got to hear it run and see it drive, so I really need to find an engine cover. But just gonna do it for today. Like, subscribe, do all that stuff. We got a lot of work to do. Got some done, so that's cool. But anyways, yeah, thanks for watching. See you later. I don't know why I didn't. I filmed some stuff, but yeah, when I didn't really like filming stuff. So let us know if you want a video on this truck. We'll do a little update on it. I'll actually show a picture of what it used to look like in a couple clips.